Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So this is the description video for my Gold Impossible Paydirt. There's a lot of videos online about it, but I never did one. And I think that this product definitely deserves not a review, but an accurate description video of what it really is. I've offered this product now for a couple years, but I've only sold, well, according to the serial number, 1,368. So it's not a very popular product, probably because of the name. But yeah, it's not a review video. I just want to kind of open it up and explain what it is and what you can expect if you get one on kleshgold.com. Hope you enjoy it.
Okay, here it is, the Gold Impossible Paydirt, 1/4 gram guaranteed from kleshgold.com. They weigh between 8 and 12 ounces each, and as far as I know, these are by far the most difficult paydirt I have ever done. I have done other black sand paydirts and stuff like that, but this one here has a special ingredient that we'll talk about in a second, which makes it, to me, the most difficult that I've ever done. And it's also the reason I no longer sell it individually on kleshgold.com. You can only get these with the panning experiences as a bundle. As you can see, we didn't sell too many in our history. Only 1,367 of them have been sold. So let's go ahead and open this thing up and see what it's all about. So these things are double heat sealed because the material inside is actually wet. And we do that on purpose. We do that as an added layer of difficulty. So there you can see it's just a disaster in there. Let's pour it out. Oh, this one actually had a pick. That, you will not find a pick in your bag. We don't do that anymore. Gotta rinse it off. And also it's very important to rinse out the bag itself. If you have to rip the bag apart to get everything, then definitely do that. All right, here's the sloppy mess. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is classify. So we'll go ahead and wet classify to plus and minus kitchen strainer. We'll get the water level above the material. And because this material is very difficult, we're gonna classify it again to an even smaller mesh. This is gonna help when we get down to the black sand, which is most of the material actually. You'll see. All right, here we have our plus and minus kitchen strainer size material. And then this right here is the minus smaller strainer. I'm not sure what size that is. It's just a smaller kitchen strainer. All this stuff needs to be dried out. That way we can remove all the magnetic material when the material's dry, making it not as impossible anymore. Because trying to pan this out, it would take forever. So let's dry it out. So when drying this stuff out, I like to tilt the pan and get the water to pull up in one area. And then I'll take a paper towel and just let the paper towel soak up any of the running water. I'll just let it, sometimes I'll just let it sit there at an angle for a while with the paper towel at the bottom. And then I use this here. I've had this for years. It is made by Milwaukee. And it's a heat gun. It's not a hair dryer, so it's not blowing air very hard. It's just blowing very hot air. And so I'll put it on, I'll start off on the high setting, and then I'll just kind of mix this stuff around. That's taken forever. So we're gonna go to plan B here. So here I have like a metal cup. Just take like a spoonful at a time, and we'll roast it with a torch. That dries it out pretty quick. So all right, the torch was a fun idea, but definitely not the best idea. I don't know if you can see, but this was blowing the material out of the cup. We don't want to lose material, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna bring my air fryer outside and just cook it in the air fryer. Make sure you do it outside because you don't want any kind of mercury or chemicals or who knows what's in this stuff to be in your house. So if you do this, just do it outside, I guess. I gotta clean up. All right, let's get this stuff dry. All right, it is dry, but it's very, very hot. I should let it cool down a little bit, but here I have a strong neodymium magnet on the end of a nut driver inside of a silver dollar tube. I'm going to use this to remove as much magnetic material as I can. Yeah, it's almost all black sand. And the reason we dry it out before removing the magnetics is because if you try removing the magnetics while it's wet, that black sand is going to trap gold and stuff in there. You can see that it's still trapping a lot of non-gold material. I don't know if you can see it's like falling off as I tap it. So I'm just going to drop this back in there and hover the magnet above and let the black sands jump up to the magnet. All right, I'll give it another pass here. Yeah, there's even a good amount on the second pass. All right, I think we got most of it. So this black sand comes from the Pacific Ocean in Washington State, and it is very, very fine black sand. So it's extra difficult to remove the gold from it. Okay, so here's the progress. I was able to remove this with the magnet, and this is what's left over. Now, I don't know if you can see it, but right up in here, it's darker. Looks like there's more black sand in there that I missed. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this neodymium magnet once again without the silver dollar tube to get an even better contact. And I'm just gonna remove whatever I can with this magnet. It's a little more difficult, well, it's a lot more difficult to remove the black sand from it because you have to go like this. You have to use your fingers to kind of like clean it off, and it takes forever. But that little bit of extra work now makes the panning process way easier. It's totally worth doing this. That magnet was clean before I put it in there. As you can see, there's a lot. I'm just now thinking I should have done a time lapse on this, but I'm starting and stopping a lot because of filming, so it's kind of impossible to do that. No pun intended. But if I would guess, I think this process is going to take probably 2 or 3 hours. Look at all that. It's all magnetic. All right, I'm going to go ahead and spend some time removing as much magnetic as possible from this, and then we'll start panning. All right, so I spent probably another 10 minutes trying to remove as much of the black sand from this side and putting it over here. I am still getting a little bit at a time, but it's kind of annoying. I just kind of want to get to panning. So that's what we're going to do. So let's go ahead and bring over Crusty Rusty. I'll add some water and a little bit of jet dry. That'll break the surface tension of the water, so any really fine gold that we are going to find won't float away. All right, so the way I do it is I'm just going to do 1 spoonful at a time. You don't want to do too much more than that, and you'll see why in a second here. Because first of all, there's not much to pan off at all, right? You have to keep everything in the pan, and you have to swirl it back very slowly. And there's extremely fine flour gold in here. And as you see it coming down, you'll see it coming down. That's when you're going to grab it with your snuffer bottle. So let's find a little bit. We'll do a demonstration, and then I'll do the majority of it here off camera, because it's going to take quite a while. There's one piece of gold right there. It's like a flake, so I'll grab that. Now I'm not seeing too much because this is all the stuff that we grabbed with the magnet. But as you can see, even though it was dry, there's gold right there. There's another piece up in this corner here. There's another piece coming down. There's another piece. So you get the idea, right? Okay, I'll do the rest. All right, so in the magnetic stuff, I'm getting to the end, and you can see there's gold, and then there's like a gray layer, and then we have the black sand. Now the gray layer is the secret ingredient I was talking about before. That is tungsten dust, and even though it's not magnetic, it still comes up just like the gold getting trapped in the black sand. So, I mean, already I'm seeing gold come down the sides here. I already collected a good amount of flakes, flour gold and flakes in my snuffer bottle here. And it's all about just panning it back. And as you get material down here in the back, you want to take your squirt bottle, clean it out, and then just repeat that process until all that's left is the gold and the tungsten, because the tungsten is going to stick with the gold. I'm just kind of in focus mode here, and I'm enjoying it. Look at all that really fine gold. I know the lighting isn't the best, but if I tap it, you can see how much gold is actually in there still. All right, I'll keep working it down till we get closer. So here's the trick that I use when panning out an impossible bag. It's the tap trick. So you can see the black layer, the gray layer, and then you can actually see that I was able to separate the gold from the gray layer right there. And it's all a tapping technique. It's kind of like getting lucky. If you're panning this pay dirt, I'm assuming you know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about tapping your pan, but I don't want to do it again because I'm afraid that the gray and the gold will mix together again. But once you get lucky and tap it to that point, you can actually get a modified snuffer bottle like this with a pointed tip. You can actually just use the tip of your squirt bottle on your snuffer bottle, and then you can grab that gold from that corner without grabbing any of the tungsten. And that's pretty much the secret on panning this gold. There's still a little bit of flour gold left in there, and that's pretty much the process. So, yeah, there's still a little bit of tiny, tiny flour gold. It's almost impossible. Let's see if I can tap it out. It's worth a try. There's a piece that popped out right there. Hours of fun. I think I'm done right there. I think we got it all. Now for the hard part. So this material is not even magnetic, right? It's non-magnetic, and there is black sand in there. So what are we supposed to do? Pretty much the same process, except here we're gonna have a lot more of that tungsten. So now, again, 1 spoonful at a time. I'll do 1 pan here on camera, and then I'll do the rest off camera for the next hour or so. So as you can see, it's panning off a little bit, but we're getting right into the black sands. The black sands come right down. So you don't want to pan that off because the gold could be mixed with that. So again, you're kind of stuck just washing it back and grabbing gold as you see it. Now this material is a lot lighter in color, which means the gold is even harder to see. So I'm starting to see a little bit of gold on this side, just a little bit, and we're just going to keep working that until it starts moving itself down, and then we'll grab it with the snuffer bottle. Once I have an opportunity to grab it, I will. And that's pretty much the process for all of this. I'll keep going until we hit the tungsten. There's a piece. There we go, I got lucky. I got very lucky. All right, I think we got it all. And that's pretty much the process for this. And once this is done, the hard part is definitely over, because then all we have is the bigger classifications. All right, we're getting towards the end of this classification here, the non-magnetic fines, and this is where most of the gold's gonna be. I just tapped it up. You can see we have a nice smile right there. I'm gonna go ahead and keep panning it. I'm just slowly bringing it back, watching for any gold coming down. I see a little piece of flour gold on the right. I let it go because I'm trying. I saw this piece of gold come by, and there's another piece right there. I actually watched them go by, But I did that on purpose because I wanted to get as much of this stuff down as possible. And I know that I can grab this with my fine tip snuffer bottle. Now I can go ahead and clear out this back portion. I know there's no gold in it, and we'll just keep going. It takes a lot of patience, it takes a lot of focus, but I'm sure you already knew that if you intentionally purchased this. But that's the main reason I decided to start making these description videos for each of my products, because now when people buy a Klesh Gold Panning experience, they're going to get this bag whether they like it or not, and they're going to have questions. So that way I can just send them the video. I can do a much better job explaining things in a video than I can through an email or something. So here's where we're at. You can see all the tungsten and the gold mixed together, and we still have a lot of black sand to keep panning back. So I'm trying to get it pretty much to just gold and tungsten at this point. I'm trying to get lucky here with a good tap. I think that's better than nothing. I think I'm going to grab all this. I know it's bringing some tungsten along with it, but it's kind of like a process of elimination. Try to separate the two, right? No matter what it takes. And it is very tempting to just leave these little pieces of flour gold and just say, "Ah, forget it," you know. Gotta grab them. Now I always put over 0.25 grams in every bag, but I usually add even a little bit more to the Impossible bags just because of how difficult this stuff is to recover. Look how small this gold is. And that's mixed in with the tungsten. So I got to try to get a lucky tap here. I mean, I got some of it there. I think we're done. Maybe not. This stuff is crazy. All right, finally, I've got all that gold in my 2 snuffer bottles. We'll do the cleanup here at the end of that. I'm just gonna knock out these 2 pans because they're kind of in the way, and they should be very, very easy to pan. I should have done these first, but I'm the type that likes to just knock out the hard part first. Oh, there is some gold in here. There's a couple flakes, it looks like. All right. I think we have a few flakes of gold. Yeah, there's a couple flakes. And if we find any gold in here, then that's either going to be a bonus bag or there's just a giant nugget from nature, which I have found here. I found a nice 1 grammer. Are you kidding? Is that gold? That ain't gold. Okay, I thought we had like a big piece of wire gold. I don't think it is. What is that? Is that wire gold? This might be a bonus bag, actually. That's a piece of gold, I think. Yeah, that's gold. All right, that's just a bonus bag, I think. Whoops. Nice. Don't expect that in your bag. We'll just dump it all into a pan. So there you can see what we have to clean up. There is over a 1/4 gram of gold guaranteed in this. Now, the way that I like to clean this up, it's kind of like reverse cleanup here. So what I like to do is, instead of grabbing the gold, I'll grab all of the dirt and leave the gold behind. Sometimes it's easier to do it this way. See that? Make sure there's no gold in it. Just grab it with the snuffer bottle and just repeat that process a few times. It is a little bit easier doing it this way. And then again, trying for that lucky tap to get the tungsten and the gold separated. I haven't perfected it yet, not by a long shot. It's definitely worth trying. That tungsten stuff, it just hides right with the gold. Trying to get a lucky tap. We're getting closer. I'll keep it going, And yeah, as you can see, trying to swirl it back. Let me put a little more water in here. And so yeah, as you can see, trying to swirl it back and clean that tungsten away from the gold. I mean, your gold's gonna move before the tungsten does. You see that? The tungsten is up here. Like if I give it a good vicious swish, you can actually wash the gold back and leave the tungsten up above. And then maybe grab the tungsten with the snuffer bottle. Yeah, this is not a normal panning experience. That's why it's called the impossible bag. Anyway, I'm gonna spend some time trying to clean this up. This is what you have to look forward to. Have fun. Now we're down to the impossibly fine gold mixed with tungsten. And honestly, that's such a small amount it would not even register on the scale. But if you're a completionist like me, all it takes is a little more patience and you can get it all. I've done it many times. And there we go. Whew. So I just checked the time. I've been here for at least 3 hours, but I have been filming and stuff as well. So yeah, it took, I would say, maybe 2 hours to do a bag of this pay dirt. And I'm experienced at doing this, so I mean, maybe add a half hour, add an hour. I'm not sure what your skill level is, but that is crazy. All right, I'm just gonna dump this out, dry it out, and we'll take a closer look at it. So by the way, I just checked our records, and this bag was a bonus bag, and that's why we found a guitar pick in the bag. Now, every bag with a guitar pick doesn't mean it's a bonus bag. We just sometimes throw a pick in when it's a bonus bag. But yeah, it's a pretty cool wire gold nugget there. Alright, there it is, the Gold Impossible Pay Dirt with a 1/4 gram guaranteed. We got lucky with a bonus nugget here. As of December 2024, these bags are only available in the Klesh Panning Experience bundles on kleshgold.com. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it helped. If you're watching this video because you got stuck on that tungsten, it is very difficult. I've never seen a pay dirt quite as difficult as this, and that's why I named it the Gold Impossible Pay Dirt. Thanks for watching.